4 tips from a beginner to another beginner. And yes, I'm a completely reliable source of information. Trust me, bro. Why you ask? That's because I'm you. Jokes aside, as a guy early on his art journey, I think I can provide some more insight on what you really need to practice. And if you're somebody who's experienced, who knows, maybe you will find something interesting out here. But just to be sure, I don't know though. I think most of us are familiar with this. Obviously, we gotta practice any sort of skill to get good at it. But then again, there are various ways of going about it, some better than other. In terms of art, I think proper practice will include focusing on what you already are interested in and trying to absorb as much info as you can, while also retaining most of the information that you just learned. And you can do this by repetition. For example, you want to learn how to draw a face. You want to do your quick usual research first, which means maybe watch a video about it on YouTube, follow a guide, then get your references and practice, then repeat the same practice, but this time trying to recollect what you learned and not using the reference a lot. Now, I don't think this is that beginner friendly, but it still works. Another way of going about it would be using a lot of references to create one final piece. For example, one reference for the lighting, one for the pose, another for the angle, another for the color scheme, etc. This is usually what professionals do who work for bigger companies, or so I heard. So instead of doing long studies, I believe smaller quick bursts of studies help a lot more, and in many cases are a lot more helpful compared to longer ones, especially if you're a beginner. This is typically due to your attention span and the fact that we usually end up exhausting our energy while focusing. So in order to make the most of it, it might be better doing quick studies under an hour. Instead of spending your entire life in the chamber, you get more bang for the buck. I don't know if that's how the saying goes. Now, if you're more experienced, you might benefit from both. Usually, you want to do short, quick studies for specific target. For example, maybe you want to learn how to draw natural-looking trees, so you study trees for a shorter time. Longer studies, on the other hand, usually help with more color theory, proper anatomy, proper shading concepts, which I don't think any beginner would be putting that much time into to begin with. Moving on, for faster learning, it's highly recommended to get feedback from people. Asking people for their opinions and feedback would help you look into things with fresh perspective. You get to learn from critiques and work through them. So for critiques, you can post your work online in the Discord servers or maybe any other social media app. Maybe show it to your friends if you have any, that is. Jokes aside, the reason behind putting this out as a tip is because I believe most beginners are afraid of critics or afraid of getting judged, which is understandable, but it's also necessary for improving art. Sure, you can improve your art on your own to a certain extent, but shutting off any other opinions or being closed-minded will slow things down. It's a lot more preferable if you have open mind and get used to critiques early on, obviously blocking out pricks who are just throwing shade for the sake of it. It's important to differentiate between the two and learn from the constructive criticism that you're getting. If you're genuinely interested in art and genuinely interested in improving on it, you would need to form a habit of drawing, like a lot. Sure, in one of my past videos, I've said that you don't really need to draw a lot, which I still stand by the way. It still doesn't hurt to form that habit. It is also necessary that you get used to this lifestyle and draw a lot more consistently. Obviously, you don't have to draw daily, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't help because it clearly does. Most of my growth happened because of the daily practice I'd get, so it would be really hypocritical for me to be against it. But then again, don't push it to the point that you get exhausted and face burnout, because that's the last thing you want to happen to yourself. Anyways, bye.